KFNX. In the studio with us today, we have a very special guest, and Your Car Insiders is proud to welcome You Got It Professional Driving Instruction Services as our newest sponsor. Henry started his company in 2008, providing professional driving instructions to anyone who wants to improve their confidence and proficiency behind the wheel. If driving on the roads and freeways in the valley cause you anxiety, give him a call. Their clients include teenagers, adults, senior citizens, and persons with special needs. They cover the rules of the road and all types of parking, being safe in and around your vehicle, driving on the freeway, and then they prepare you to take the road test by practicing the road test at the MVD, as well as accompanying you on the day of your road test. Whether it be an automatic or manual transmission vehicle provided by yourself or you use Henry's car, you'll receive the best driver education available with You Got It Professional Driving Instruction Services. You can call Henry Williams at 602-781-7454. Once again, 602-781-7454. You want to learn how to drive? You got it. Welcome, Henry.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Henry.
Well, let me first start by saying thank you for inviting me down to the studios today. I am so excited. Couldn't sleep at all last night. Didn't speed to get here, because that would be wrong. But I wanted to just emphasize one of the things that we teach at You Got It, and that is, the first thing we talk about safety. It really doesn't matter where you put your hands on the wheel, 10 and 2, the old rules are texting and driving, if you don't even have your car to drive. So I ask all my students, and I'll ask you guys just to see what you think. What is the first thing you do when you get in your cars?
Put my seatbelt on.
Same thing.
Well, that's good if the car was in motion, but if I was to walk alongside your car and see that door was open and I was a bad guy, I could pull that door open and grab you in less than a second. So now what do you say the first thing you should do when you get in?
Lock the door.
Exactly. And I teach all the parents that. I show them in demonstrations. I take the student out to the car and I'll give them the keys and say, do what you normally do. And 99.9% of them will get in the car and do exactly like you said, adjust their seats, adjust their seat belts, mirrors, and I'll walk alongside and I'll knock on the door and they'll look at me and I'll pretend to ask them what time it is by pointing to my wrist. Now, most teenagers don't wear watches. They use their phones, so they'll turn away from me. I'll snatch that door open and pull them out, and they'll scream, and the parents will go, oh my God.
Now, the first time we met Henry, he told us about a new scam that was out there, and I found it pretty interesting. That you hop in your car, you do what we said, you put your seatbelt on, start the car, you get your radio station going, and you look in your rearview mirror to back up, and there's a piece of paper on the back of your rear window, and you decide to make sure the car's in park, open the door, get out to see what the piece of paper says. And hopefully the carjacker that watched you get out, left the car running, has the decency to drive forward, not drive backwards and run you over. Now, I don't know if you saw on the news the other night, the gentleman that does that weight loss, he was on one of the competitive shows. He's a huge personal trainer. He lives in Chandler. His nanny was in the car with their infant, and they got carjacked.
That is incredible.
She had the wherewithal to get out of the vehicle, grab the kid, and be gone. And what was funny was the guy, when he took off with the car, their iPad was in the car, and she had the app that Find My Phone or Find My iPad.
Yeah, GPS app.
And they called OnStar. OnStar disabled the car, and the guy figured that, guess what? I guess I can't get the car, but I got myself a really nice iPad. So as he was walking down the street with the iPad in his hand, he got surrounded by the Chandler police or the Mesa police because the iPad was sending out a signal.
Isn't technology wonderful these days?
That guy definitely wasn't smarter than a fifth grader, as Dana would say.
Well, you know, like I said, I deal with the parents all the time, and a lot of them are unaware. Another one of the things we do is we talk about what happens when you get stopped by the police. Now, most teenagers are afraid with the police. They think, oh, the cops are going to do this, that, and the other, and the police are trying to find out information. Make it easy for them. When you get stopped, I tell the parents, make sure that the insurance card and the registration are somewhere that they can reach and they can get to, and that it's current. Because if you're a police officer in the valley wearing 40 pounds of gear, and you're standing outside of 110-degree weather outside this car waiting for someone to produce the proper insurance card, the proper registration, the chances of you getting off with just a warning is going down the drain quicker and quicker. So I tell parents, keep it in a little baggie or Ziploc or something in the glove box. and not with a lot of other stuff, so that when, not if, but when they get stopped, they're able to produce the proper documents.
Well, there's a lot of different things that you do, and one of the first things that we talked about when we first met was, training people to be aware of what is going on around them.
Oh, definitely, yes.
And whether it's when you're first getting in the car or when you're getting out of the car, I think about, my kids, I think about the safety of, people's loved ones out there. Can you talk a little bit more about some of the different things that you
Sure.
teach?
Well, since we all know that criminals are no respecters of zip codes, it doesn't matter if you're in 85259 or 85040. Opportunity presents itself, a criminal is going to take advantage of that. So when you're getting out, and well, let's talk about getting in the car. You want to approach your car from the front. If you approach from the front, you can see if there's anyone hiding in the back seat or around the side of the car. Then when you turn around to get in, you have a door that's a weapon that can be used against anyone coming at you at the last second before you get in. We've already talked about the first thing you do when you get in is lock the door. When you get out of the car, you want to park, or when you park the car, you want to be near where everyone else is. Now, I know some people have very expensive cars and they don't want them door dinged, but if you park on the far side of a mall, no one can see what happens to you when you go back to your car. There was a lady in Peoria that got herself a brand new car, I think it was a Lexus, and she didn't want it door dinged, so she parked way on the other side. She leaves this gym at night. No one saw the minivan next to her. They grabbed her, took her off. The security cameras only saw a van pull away. A few days later, a gentleman was walking his dog in the Our Freer Creek bed, and the dog found the body. Now, that lady's car is still perfectly safe. Unfortunately for her, she was killed. Park near the entrance. If you're having trouble parking, give me a call. We'll teach you how to park properly and the right way so that you don't put yourself at risk. And if you leave an environment, leave a store or something toward your car, and you see someone hanging by your car, one of the things I tell people is, why don't you pretend that you got a phone call? You don't even have to look at the person that's threatening, and that you have to go back inside. When you come back outside, you come back out with a security officer or someone else to accompany to your vehicle. It's never a good idea, no matter what you know regarding martial arts or self-defense or how big you are, to go against someone because you don't know what they have planned. The best thing to do is to have someone else come out with you, or in the worst case scenario, call the police and let them know there's someone strange and someone kind of menacing standing near my car.
Well, can I ask you this too?
Sure.
Obviously, this is a city that has a lot of people that come from different parts of the country.
Sure.
They're, whether they're from, here for the season, so to speak, and they're elderly, or they're people that have just moved from, different types of weather. What kind of challenges do they face here in Arizona?
In this state, we have a lot of people that have come from other places, like you say. Well, we all bring what we grew up with driving where we're from. I'm from New York City. So I have my own little things that I like to do. Some people are from other states that drive slower. Some people are from other countries where they drive on the other side of the road. The first thing I do, for example, when I get a person from another country that drives on the British side, is we have to learn where all the things are first. I don't want you putting on your windshield wiper when you mean to signal right, because then you will become fixated on that problem of turning it off versus driving the car. So if you're going down the 202 at 65 miles an hour and you want to signal right, now your wipers are going a mile a second. The only thing you can think of is how to stop that. So you've taken your eyes off the road. 60 miles per hour is equivalent to 88 feet per second. The average car length is what, 17 feet? So look at how many cars you've covered in that 1 second while looking away from the road trying to stop the wipers. Actually had a student from India do that. He was focused on the wipers, and I said to him, why is that more important than the fact that you're crossing over lanes without telling anyone and looking? So we have to get them used to that side of the road. And our signals are totally different than a lot of other countries too.
Now, I stepped out for a second. I just want to make sure that Henry touches on something. Did you talk about the law changes that are coming up in October?
I'm glad you brought that up. Every driving school now has the ability to issue what they call a certificate of completion. It is a form that they give you either for the permit or for the driving test that waives you having to take it at the motor vehicle. Now that's been a great selling point over the last 10 years or longer for driving schools. It's the reason why a lot of people go to driving schools. Well, as of October 22nd, that goes bye-bye.
Now, the question that I asked Henry when he was telling me about this is that when I got my motorcycle endorsement, I went to a driving school. I went on a Friday night, I went on a Saturday, I went on a Sunday, and when I finished, they handed me a certificate that says I can go to the Department of Motor Vehicles, give them $7, and they will give me a motorcycle endorsement. So what Henry basically said is that's over with.
Totally over with.
You take the class to take your motorcycle test, all you're now learning to do is learning how to ride a motorcycle
Exactly.
before you take the road test. Now, I think you mentioned that your service, you accompany.
We've been doing this since 2008. Whether it's with a person with a motorcycle or a car, stick shift, manual, automatic, it doesn't matter. What we do is we prepare you either the night before or the day before by using their motor vehicle department, whichever one is open and has this set up, and then we go back the next day so it's fresh in your mind. We will, if you don't have a car, we provide a car as well. It's a great opportunity to learn how to do it the right way. I like the certificate program, but it was kind of looked at as an easy pass, and motor vehicle is seeing that too. A lot of people are getting these and not really knowing what to do. So motor vehicle is taking the right back to have to give them the test versus letting schools issue it.
You know, I know when I was a kid, we actually had a semester in school, driving school.
I took that semester over the summer because it was by your birthday, and I was like one of the youngest kids in my senior class. I was born in November. I was the first one of my friends to have a full driver's license in New York, but I spent my summer at summer school taking driver's education.
And I don't think they teach that out here, do they?
In some schools they do. Most of the time they're asking that they either go to a school or your parents or your friends teach you. They used to require 40 hours. But we had, you got a professional driving instruction services, and I know, Gary, that's a mouthful for you every time you
Yeah.
You have to take like 2 breaths. I'm used to it. We do everything from freeway, parallel parking, straight-in parking, reverse parking, mechanics. A lot of people don't teach any of that stuff.
And refresh everybody, what's your contact information?
You can reach me, Henry Williams, at 602-781-7454. Again, that's 602-781-7454.
Before we go, we'd like to thank Cobblestone Auto Spots for their support of our show. Check out their specials on our website at yourcarinsiders.com. There's 2 links, one for new cars and one for just the everyday specials. Once again, thanks to Cobblestone Auto Spots for their support of our show. Everybody have a great week and be safe. Thank you very much, Henry.
You got it. That's what I do. How's that, gentlemen?
I thought we did.
Isn't it amazing how fast it goes?
Yeah.
He's
I used
used
to do a 2-hour news show in New York, and yeah. I did radio for the blind,
Now,
and my
you
engineer
know
fell out
that
of
you're
his chair.
linked to our
Yeah.
to your Facebook page.
Mhm.
And then I talked to Jim yesterday.